People, salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're all well, inshallah. For the people who are tuning in here right now, welcome back to the stream. Today's going to be a difficult one because I'm suffering from hunger. I'm very thirsty. Today's guest is a G because he's got a, I suppose, smoothie business, alhamdulillah. But he's also brought a whole lot of smoothies in front of me right now. We've got the box here. We've got bottles in front of me. So this is just a full-on tease. So, salam alaikum. Welcome to the stream.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, bro. Thank you for coming on. So I suppose for the people who don't know who you are, what you do exactly, how would you explain who you are, bro? What are these smoothies doing on the desk right now?
So I'll start from where we started, which was in June 2020. So we came up with a concept where we felt like, okay, how can we, I think during the COVID period, I think a lot of people were in the entrepreneurial spirit, you know, which was a beautiful sight to see in our communities and everywhere. So we thought, okay, what can we do to be different? And what can we do to create something special? And then we created these beverages, with our own secret ingredients that's in-house. And we thought, okay, let's build a brand, let's build a community, something that's never been done before, all in the name of a drink, which is the hardest thing to do really, because it's like all this fanatics, all this maze over a drink. And the aim, and to this day anyway, is to build a luxury community brand, which is an oxymoron. It's a lot of polar opposite. It's like, how can you be community and how can you be luxury? But that's the challenge we want to do. We want to be something different, something that's never been done before in the space of the beverage. And how can we incorporate that from something that started from our humble council home in my mum's house to hopefully, go to the spaces where I feel like I believe it should be. So that's been the journey from when we started. Now it's almost 5 years, and it's been a lot of hurdles, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of crazy moments that happen, from getting fired from my job to, so many other factors as well. And the aim is just really to inspire the people, if you have any idea, whether you're selling a pen or a book or food or anything it might be that you feel like you're passionate about, how can you take it to the next level, with the little information that we had, which is, I grew up in North London. So, in my humble council home. So it's like, how can we grow and level up to that kind of space where we don't really have the guideline to. So it's like, and that's what I really want to show, is just kind of from zero to to something, hopefully. And that's the journey to this day. So Wonda Mix is more than a product, is more of a story, is more of a journey, and is a journey that hasn't, I feel like hasn't started, even though we're almost 5 years in.
Well, alhamdulillah, bro, you're 5 years in. You've got a crazy flagship store in central London. Alhamdulillah. I'm due to come down to that.
Yeah, for sure.
I know my boys have been there. I've seen the videos of it, and the store looks insane, bro. For on the outside, when you say just a beverage business, I suppose, to the store you've created, it doesn't go hand in hand. It's like, you walk into the store thinking there's got to be more than beverages.
Nah, for sure. Right? And you know what? You're not the first that said that. We've had so many people that walk past our store or even question me to this day, like, all this for a drink. And this is the thing that I want to kind of educate myself and others in my community. It's like, well, why do we have this limited mindset in terms of a drink? I always use the example of, Red Bull was sending a man to the moon, and it's like they only had one drink. So why can't we do the same? And we've got 5 beverages, great products as well. It's not just something that's been there just due to whatever reason it was. It's because of a good product and a strong community that's been supporting us from day one. So it's more of that aspect of kind of being different. We want to disrupt the game. We want to be different from everyone else. We want to be doing things that's questionable. And that's a form of marketing in itself. We want to create a immersive retail experience as well, which I feel like a lot of the things that I'm trying to show for my people, my community, and people that have any aspiration is like, what's stopping you? There's a saying, if you have a limited mindset, it will stop you from having a limitless life, So it's just kind of breaking that habit of like, what, all this for a drink? But if you look at a lot of established brands or, very future successful brands, they did things that's outlandish. And to be fair, our flagship store is nothing to compare to them. So that's the kind of lane I want to push into. And the reason why we have that flagship store is to obviously educate the masses as well. I feel like we've got such a long way to go in terms of the brand because we haven't gone viral yet, alhamdulillah, which I think is a good thing anyway.
Why is that?
Because alhamdulillah, we built a foundation. We've got authentic, organic community, and I think that's priceless. Sometimes the harm of having a viral moment is it just comes in and goes.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know,
It's like the Dubai chocolate.
Yeah,
You know, it's a viral moment.
Yeah, and it's done really well though.
It's done well, but then once the virality dies out, that's it. What do you do from there?
Exactly. So it's like, how can we create something that's, you know, established prior to that? So I'm kind of glad we're not viral. So a lot of people are like, what? Same question that you asked me. But, you know, inshallah, when we do become viral, if that's written for us, we can at least be ready for that. And we've got people that can, as an advocate of Wonda Mix, you know, advocate of the story, you know, the journey. And it's not something that just came out of thin air.
So when you say this, your store is a place where you can educate people, you said, in what sense?
So just having the storefront itself, it catches people's eyes. You know, we're very strategic of what we did. So, you know, and our street is known for art gallery in central London,
What
right?
street is on?
Percy Street in Fitzrovia.
Yeah.
And that street is known historically for art. There's like 4 or 5 art spaces, right? And we thought, why can't we be here and just spin the wheel and create a beverage and a story, which is like an art gallery of its own. And so when people walk past, they're curious. What is it? Is it this? Is it that? And then hopefully, as we say, the brave or the 1% club that enters, we got a chance to educate them. So it's more of a challenge than anything, but it's been successful because a lot of people are interested and curious of what the store is. And then it allows us to educate them of our story and also try the product. And I feel like that's very pivotal for me and for our family, is to educate the people. You want people to know where it is and, you know, why is it where it is? Because then you have people that believe in it as well.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what allowed us the flagship store, you know, which is great.
Alhamdulillah. How old are you now, Ak?
30 now, yeah.
30 now,
Yeah,
alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
yeah.
I'm not that old, but then let's take it all the way back, bro. If we just dive it back, you said you grew up in North London.
Yeah.
Tell me about your whole upbringing, because I want to understand the man of how we got to a beverage, to a drink, because, you know, everyone goes down different routes of entrepreneurship.
No, for sure.
Let's go back from your early days.
Oh, so that's going to be a story for
Podcast,
yeah,
which is
for a
what we're on.
podcast. But yeah, I mean, I was, you know, my mother is Somali background and my father is from Yemen, and I was born in Yemen. You know, I was an expat, and then I moved to Saudi, you know, for my younger age, from between 7 years old, right? So I've had a childhood where my mindset is quite different to someone that was a 7-year-old here. You know, I don't know if you've been to Saudi, but if you see the little kids, they're hustling already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're selling.
Also, was you one of them? Yeah.
I was not
In the
like
heart of
them,
hustling.
but I was hustling and bustling. You know what I mean? You have little kids, you know, and they're very intelligent as well. So it's so important in terms of your environment, how your mindset is of whatever age you might be.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Saudi did you go to?
I grew up in Jeddah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in Jeddah, North Jeddah. I've always been North in everything. So I grew up in Jeddah, and then I moved here as a immigrant. So me and my mom moved here, and we just had it was just new space, new environment. It was so crazy because at the time, even though there was TV, there wasn't internet like that, right? And I wasn't exposed to a lot of things, you know, in terms of the Western world. So when I came in, it was like my first time, as crazy as it sounds, like seeing a Caucasian community, you know, and it's like, because I was watching Arabic movies. So it was so new to me. And obviously I had to learn the language, I had to adapt. And I was fortunate enough where I had people skills, you know. I had people skills, alhamdulillah, where I was able to, you know, speak to the people. Even though I couldn't speak English, but I had one thing that helped me, which was football. Alhamdulillah, I was good at football.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, and I feel like some aspect of sports, it allows you to, you know, integrate socially, right?
Of course, yeah.
So alhamdulillah, you know, football helped me. You know, I was like the best player in the school, all that stuff. So it helps you in terms of just the social aspect. And then as I went along in secondary school, I played for England under 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I played for Arsenal, I played for Fulham. I had a football agent.
Yeah.
So I played for a couple of teams when I was in my young heyday, you know, and after that, obviously, alhamdulillah, it wasn't written for me. I wasn't really someone that always said I wanted to be a footballer. I was good at it and I enjoyed it.
What about academically?
Academically, I was good, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really the most focused student. You know, I was a bit of the cheeky boy, etc. So, alhamdulillah, I did well. And, you know, coming to this country, obviously, language barrier, you know, tried to maneuver life. And alhamdulillah, we settled. And then I've been here since I was pretty much 7. But one of the things that actually inspired me in terms of the brand was initially there was, you know, similar beverage concept, but it wasn't our product, you know, and it's like, how can we make that better? How can we be the best in that field? That was my objective, right? So the inspiration came from the Middle East, but to this day, alhamdulillah, we get people that are interested in Dubai or Saudi or all these other places. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Barak. So the inspiration came from there. But as I went along prior to Wonda Mix, you know, I went through, you know, teenage stage, you know, you're around the wrong crowd, you know, you're in the wrong environment, but you're also good at something, so you can actually get out of that environment over football, but you're still a product of the environment, right? So after that, obviously I left the space of football. I was exposed to an opportunity where I never thought I'll be in that space, which was modeling, right?
Okay, really? Okay,
yeah, I know I don't look it, but but it was like a,
they just saw the height and they were like,
yeah, the height, he's slim, you know, he's got a bit of cheekbone, you know. But what it did was, I was like 16, 17, and what it gave me was, I wasn't someone that was scared of opportunity, even though in my environment, you know, certain things was seen a bit, at that time, you know, it wasn't really encouraged.
Okay, yeah.
Right? But I didn't really care, you know. Alhamdulillah, one thing about me, and one thing that my mom always taught me, was to be strong-headed, you know, don't care and seek validation from the people. And I took that opportunity, you know, it was more of a money opportunity, but it also allowed me to gain more confidence than what I had, you know, walking in front of strangers, you know, wearing attires that I wouldn't wear personally, but it also built me in a space of networking. So I was learning how to network from a young age. You know, I was 16, 17, and I was networking with people that were established, you know, brands like Tommy Hilfiger, all of these spaces. And I used that skill set to I left obviously modeling after that. You know, I tried to learn about Islam, which was the next phase of my life. And actually prior to that, before Islam, and in between modeling, I was, at the time when there was social media, YouTube. This is when KSI them lot were coming up. So I had a segment of YouTube era, right?
Okay, so you was on YouTube yourself, you tried to make content.
I was literally like, our first few videos that we done, it went viral, like global. Yeah. So then I became quite known. You know, I was known in my community, but I became known in a different scope, right?
So how many videos did you do?
I did few, and it was like at that time. Now the algorithm is a bit different on YouTube. Is the
channel still there?
No, I deleted it, and I'll tell you why.
Are you telling me that on camera before I try and check it? Yeah.
No, honestly, there's probably like copies, but the actual videos which reached million views at the time, it was like the first day was 100,000.
Oh, million views? Okay, so this was viral.
Yeah. We were viral before viral.
Yeah.
So, you know, like people were saying that I was the first Somali YouTube at the times, you know, and this is when KSI and everyone was coming up. I was in that space of the era. And then obviously that gave me some sort of, you know, platform to speak and do a lot of things that I wanted to do, which was charity. Yeah. And I think people that followed me throughout the years, charity was always something that I wanted to do. And to be honest, one of the main inspiration was charity when I did those videos. I didn't want to be a content creator. It was more of like, how can I was already aware of how can I gravitate people's attention. And I did these crazy skits, and, you know, it built a lot of traction. And then I used that as a platform to do charity.
What sort of skits did you do?
Comedy. It was more comedy, yeah. It was more comedy and like real life experiences, right? So I used that traction into the things I was really passionate about, which was charity. And, you know, at the time, this is 2012, right? You know, we were doing like Play for Gaza, you know, things that's prominent now. We were raising money for football, you know, through all these platforms. So that was something I was always sidely, you know, passionate about. And I used that platform for that reason. Then obviously we was in a stage of modeling. I was exposed to a different life, you know, it was mad. It was like, you know, high level haram, you know, high level, you know, final boss, right? And alhamdulillah, obviously, final boss, but alhamdulillah, it wasn't something that I was obviously passionate about. It was just more, you know, I was money motivated in that space, and I was trying to leave, you know, my space of like bad friends, you know, the road, all of that stuff. So I was trying to avoid that, because I promised my mom I'm not going to try to do that. So I was trying to always live up to my mom's promise. Yeah. But as you're young, you're getting tempted. Then alhamdulillah, after that space of modeling, alhamdulillah, Allah showed me, you know, Islam, you know, even though it's crazy because I grew up in a Muslim country. I was born in a Muslim country.
This is what I was going to say, because one of my parts, or one of the questions of the stream is, as we talk about more about Islam, especially in the month of Ramadan, I was going to ask you how how Islam was influenced in your life, especially knowing that, as you said, you grew up in Saudi.
Yeah, so exactly. So prior to when I was growing up, even though I was exposed to a lot of, you know, Islamic beliefs and, you know, life and how to conduct yourself, I wasn't really in tune with it. And then obviously as I got older, my late teenage years, alhamdulillah, Allah showed me, you know, he tested me with affairs that I felt like, you know, alhamdulillah, was a blessing in disguise. At that time it was quite scary, but it was the biggest blessing, because I literally stopped everything I was doing and I tried to like learn about Islam, you know, get into my habit of praying. And I think from that time, which was 2024 to this day, alhamdulillah, it was just a journey. You know, it's up and downs. It's like I describe like learning your religion like gym, right? You slowly trying to get stronger, and then you slowly slack on gym, right?
Of course,
and now you want to get back into it. But you know, if you're consistent in gym, you feel good. You know, you look good. And this is how I describe Islam. You know, the more you're in tune with your Islamic belief, the more you feel good spiritually, mentally, physically. So alhamdulillah, that was the stage where I was learning a lot about Islam, and I was, you know, trying to shape my life in a different manner where, you know, I cut out friends, try to avoid bad habits, but I was still connected to the people. You know, I never, that's one thing I don't know it was good or bad at the time, but I've always left that door open for my companions, you know. Sometimes you want to just leave everyone for your own safety, which is understandable, but I've always left that door. I always felt like, yeah, I can bring my friends in. And alhamdulillah, like, it's been the greatest moment of my life to this day, where Islam literally just shaped how I think, how I move, how I conduct myself. And also, even from a business perspective, what is your coping mechanism? You know, if things are doing well, if things are not doing well, you know, alhamdulillah, I've got that foundation. So if now we're building a brand like Wonda Mix, and then let's say tomorrow it just falls off, what is my coping mechanism? You know, some people that don't have that foundation, they'll lose it. But I know, alhamdulillah, like whatever's written for us, it will never miss us.
Yeah.
You know, Islam is beautiful. Like I know I'm gonna get what's written for me before I pass away. So that gives you that kind of coping mechanism in terms of just the entrepreneurial side, but also in every part of your life, whether gym, you know, personal development, or even the business side of things. And I think that's been the greatest blessing to this day, Islam, you know.
Alhamdulillah. I'm going to come to that as well, because I do think there's an element there of what you just said and why you come to Islam. But before we do, we're going to go on a quick ad break, inshallah, and then we'll come straight back to that. Right, it's Ramadan. I've got something incredibly special for you. You might already know Sunnah Supplements, because me and Sunnah Supplements work together on a close basis, and you will probably know them for their incredible collagen protein. But let me tell you something right now. Their electrolytes, game changer, especially during Ramadan. So during Ramadan, Sunnah Supplements have got this incredible Ramadan package where you can get 2 packs of collagen, electrolytes, and a shaker included as well. Now let me tell you how you actually use this in Ramadan. So during your hours of suhoor, what I'll simply do is have a scoop of collagen followed by a sachet of electrolytes as well. The electrolytes are going to keep you hydrated throughout the whole day of Ramadan, because obviously you can't have water, you can't have food. So this is going to be something that actually helps you fuel yourself during the day. One sachet has the same mineral contents as 3 liters of water. And of course, with the colors on the shaker as well, you already know that a portion of the profits are going straight to this country right now. So you can get all of this for 50% off. Plus, use the code CEOCAST, you get an extra 10% off. That is a whopping 60% off throughout the month of Ramadan, and keeping yourself fueled, hydrated, the whole lot throughout the month. So you want to make sure you're fueling your body the right way this Ramadan, and get this Ramadan package. Don't forget to use code CEOCAST for the extra 10%. The link's on the screen right now, as well as the description and the QR code. You got no reason not to get this. I'm making it as easy as possible for you. So scan the QR code, get to the link in the description, and get yourself this Ramadan bundle. So Sunnah Supplements, thank you very much for sponsoring CEOCAST. It's keeping me fueled throughout the whole month of Ramadan, and it's going to keep you guys fueled as well. And we are back, people. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're all well. Oh, wrong button. Hope you're all well, inshallah. If you're just joining and you're tuning in right now, I'm with Usman, aka Wonda Mix. We've just been talking about how he's gone from growing up in North London to then becoming, I suppose, a content creator, which I didn't even know. We'll get into that. To then finding Islam. And I wanted to ask you this, bro, is everyone always has that that point in their life where Allah shows them, as a guide them to find Islam.
Yeah.
And as you said right there was something within your life that made you want to go further into it.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what that was exactly? Or
I think, without delving into too much of my sins, it was just more things that I shouldn't be doing. And obviously I had a near death experience.
Oh, is it?
know?
Okay.
So it was like, and I was like, yeah, I went home, and it's crazy because I actually cried. I went home and then I hugged my mom, and then I cried, and she was worried. And then alhamdulillah, you know, after that, I haven't prayed prior to that. But subhanAllah, it's crazy how your natural inclination is always to like seek aid from, you know, the Most High. So alhamdulillah, I prayed from that day, and I started to listen to lectures, and then I started just falling in love with what my religion teaches me, you know. And I think that was the most powerful thing that I've experienced, just in terms of learning and knowledge. And, you know, knowledge is encouraged in Islam. You know, they say, you know, knowledge is actually one of the most important things in Islam. And then you can incorporate that in anything that you do, you know, whether personal hobbies and, as I was saying, entrepreneur. And it was a crazy experience, but sometimes you have to go through things, right, to actually understand what is your purpose in this life. And then I took my life seriously after that. I definitely did. Alhamdulillah, that was like almost 11 years ago.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, and I think that was the time I said, you know, I'm going to grow my beard and everything. And it just...
Could be proper act.
Yeah, there's proper act. Well, it's not even a proper act. It's more of like just trying to be the best version of myself Islamically.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes there's a misconception of, you know, us lot being Muslim, you know, Muslims are normal. You know what I mean? Like me and you are normal. And having that misconception that, oh, someone's a akhi or what. No, he's just doing what he's supposed to be doing, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just pray.
We're just Muslim. That's what Muslim
That's
is.
really what it is.
Yeah.
I think because the way the world is and the way like people, you know, label things nowadays, it's like everything that's normal is seen as taboo.
Yeah.
Anything that's taboo is seen as normal. But it's like, no, I just literally, all I say is I just pray. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really do anything different to you. Like, I sin, you sin.
And the thing is, you'll get someone on the other side who sees you praying and says you're religious. When
Yeah.
really, that's what just makes you Muslim.
But yeah, but again, look, ignorance is bliss, and I know you got a bliss bottle there, but no pun intended. But it's like, there's two sides to those kind of people, you know. One, they don't know any better, you know, and they can learn. And some is just basically, it's just the product of the environment. And it's like, no, me and you are the same.
Yeah.
I only do one particular act that maybe, you know, you're struggling with, but it doesn't mean me and you are any different. And I think sometimes people just think the small things that you do makes you any different, but no.
Yeah. Can you remember that first conversation you had with Allah when you put your head on the prayer mat? Do you remember it is what you asked for, or the feeling that you had that made you want to continue down the path of Islam? What was it exactly?
I think I don't recall exactly what I said, but it was really emotional. It was really emotional to the point where, and I'm not really someone that's in touch with my emotion too tough, but I feel like as you get older, you get more in touch with your emotions. But it was just an emotional moment. And I think after all that stress and worry I had, after I prayed, the tranquility I had was like, whoa, like what's going on? You know what I mean? And prior to that, I was just anxious and, you know, I was just worried for my life. And then after I just had that prayer, everything just changed.
Yeah.
You know, everything just changed. And then I just cracked on, really, man. It wasn't like, I'm not going to glamorize it. It was just more of like, just a simple act can change your life. And I feel like sometimes that's all it is. It's just that small step that we're all struggling is what can really change your life. And that is a prayer.
How old would you have been at the time?
I believe probably 19.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
This is still 6 years away from what people know you now as.
Yeah.
Which is Wonda Mix.
Yeah. So, because a lot of people that followed my journey prior to Wonda Mix, you know, I felt like I've had different audiences at different times, you know, from the football space to the content creation to the modeling to the business side of it. Some have followed me throughout the journey, but a lot of them lost me when I started trying to learn about Islam because I went, you know, I was MIA.
Yeah.
I was gone. I stopped all social media, I cut off, and I just thought, you know what, let me just try to lock in. And alhamdulillah, obviously, I've learned a lot from that experience. And then I was like, okay, if I ever do anything, I want to do something that will benefit the people. And I've always had that just personal connection with charity, man. And with charity, you do need platforms, you know, and alhamdulillah, I had that platform and I just had to just kind of revive it, really.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So with that platform there, my question off the back of that, naturally, I suppose, me sitting in this position right now as a content creator, how comes you didn't just jump back into the content game rather than creating businesses and doing different things?
Because I wasn't really passionate about it. Again, like I could have used content creation to actually work on charities, you know, and I see a lot of people that do that, and Allah Mubarak, like I look up to them, right? But I just felt like I wasn't in a space where I could commit to that. And I'm the type of person, I don't like to do things half-hearted, you know. As you can see with anything that I've done, I've always kind of done it 100, you know. Even to the Wonda Mix, it's like, I'm trying to go hard. So I knew at the time, I was self-aware that I was like, I can't do content creation, man, and try to build a platform for charities. I wasn't in that space. And I felt like